been told you've been filming private cars.
Right. Afternoon, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good. Could you identify yourself as well for me, please?
Why?
Well, you've come in and you've approached me.
Yeah.
So it's in your policy to actually identify, okay, and failure to identify will result in retraining. Okay, so I'm asking you properly to identify yourself, please, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. So why are you sitting here
No,
recording
if you
everyone?
can identify yourself first, and then we will carry on with a conversation.
I think there's times where I have to identify myself.
Yeah, you do.
And there's times I simply have to
Yes, you
identify.
do. Yes, you do.
Of you recording here?
So you're
Okay.
basically coming down here just to try and provoke some sort of confrontation, is that just...
No, I'm filming public property. That's what you're presuming, okay? Don't make a presumption on what I'm doing.
What is your reason for
Okay? Well, first of all, identify yourself properly.
I can see above from Croydon Police Station.
Okay? And your
So
shoulder
what-
number,
It's
please.
on my shoulder, you can see it.
No, not everyone can read numbers. That's why I'm asking
Can you
you
not?
to say it.
Do you need help with that?
Well, why do you think I'm asking you to say it? No, I'm asking you to say it, please, sir.
That's what I say.
Okay, so people that can't read numbers, that's all what you do.
Well, anyway, so
Okay, that's why I'm asking you if you can actually say what your actual shoulder number is, please.
I can do anything, sir.
But you won't do that.
Don't need to.
Okay, so you don't need to.
No,
Okay?
you don't need
You're
to
quite
be,
arrogant,
you don't.
really, aren't you?
The officer's attitude right from the jump was laced with entitlement. When a member of the public politely asks an officer to identify something every officer must do. Under the College of Policing's Code of Ethics, the response should be professional and straightforward. Instead, this officer responds with, "I don't think I have to." As if his badge gives him the right to dismiss lawful accountability. It's a clear sign of someone who thinks the uniform puts them above the public. Not in service to it. Even when he finally caves to pressure, he still fails to show basic respect. He doesn't speak his name or call a number, he just lazily points at his shoulder. As though that counts as formal ID. This isn't just sloppy policing. It's defiant, and it shows how little regard he has for transparency or public engagement. The rules exist to build trust. His body language and tone scream, "I don't answer."
It's no difference why I'm filming.
No, it does.
No, it doesn't. No, it
Because
doesn't.
you're simply here to,
No, it doesn't. No, that's what you're presuming.
What's the purpose of you filming this?
It's a public building.
Yeah, but some of these are private cars.
I can film whatever I can see in public.
Indeed.
Well, why do you do that?
Well, it makes no difference why I do it.
Why
It
do
makes
you
no
need to do
difference
that?
why I do it.
Well, it does.
What it does
No,
is
it
you
doesn't.
train these people that like to provoke confrontation.
No, that's
So
what
you
you're
stick a video
presuming.
online and monetise
That's what
it.
you're presuming.
You just
okay?
monetise a video.
That's what you're presuming.
No, you're one of these other many,
Yeah,
many
really.
fools who
And
don't
you're one of these
report.
absolute turds, okay, that literally think that you can bully the public, speak to them the way
not
you
bullying
want,
anything.
failure to actually identify yourself properly, and we actually pay
And
for
you've gotta
meatheads
sort
like
this
you.
out.
We pay for
You've come to
meatheads
the
like
police
you.
station to provoke this
We pay for
confrontation,
no.
haven't you?
You approach me. Let's get it right. You approach me. You
You've
approach
come to the
me.
police station because
You
you want this
approach me.
confrontation.
You approach
Where have
me
you
to get
travelled
it
from to get
correct.
this confrontation?
Makes no difference where I've come from.
How far have you gone?
Makes
Just
no
having answered
difference.
the police
No,
officer.
you've come to me. You've come to
I've
me.
come to you to find out
yeah,
why
but
you're
you're the
recording police
turd that
cars.
came to me. Okay, to get it right. I'm doing nothing wrong by calling him a turd. Okay.
The fact that this officer takes offense to his fellow officer being called a turd after behaving dismissively and trying to exert authority without basis is almost laughable. We're not talking about hate speech or aggressive threats here. We're talking about a petty schoolyard level insult that barely scratches the surface of what a public official might hear in a tense situation. This hypersensitivity reveals a deeper issue. The officer is trying to shift the narrative. Instead of addressing their own poor conduct, dismissive behavior, and failure to follow identification protocol, he attempts to play the victim over the lightest verbal pushback. It's a clear deflection tactic designed to flip the script and distract from the real problem. Their own attitude towards the
Point as much as I want.
Well, it's a bit aggressive, isn't
Okay.
it? No one's been
No.
aggressive to you.
No,
You've come
you
out to make sure that
you
you're
come in
okay
and you
and
two
you're
are both
safe.
pushing me closer and closer to this curb. Okay, so I'll actually ask you
You
to
were
take
stood
a
on the
step
road a
back.
minute ago.
No, I wasn't. Not when you approached me. No, I was not.
You were. You
So
were
I'll
on
ask
the
you
road.
to take a step back if you wouldn't mind, please, sir. And then I can
Oh,
move forward
please.
from the curb. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you very
Feel
much.
safer now, do you?
Okay.
Well, now there's a car coming.
I'm perfectly fine now.
Brilliant. Right, now why are you still outside
It
the
makes no
Croydon police
difference
station
why I'm here. I'm filming
back
public
gate?
property,
Yeah, but you're also filming private cars.
and I'm doing nothing wrong.
But why do you need to do that?
No, if they get caught
Where
in
is
it,
this
I'm
filming
filming
going?
public property. It makes no difference
Well,
what
it
I
does.
do with it. No, it does
It
not.
does to me.
No, it does not.
You're going round
Well,
and
then
round
you
in
should
circles.
not have approached me. Okay, you got this meathead here okay, and he is a complete meathead and
You're
should
kind of-
not be anywhere near the public.
What was that?
Your abusive
Okay.
tone is getting kind of irritating, sir.
Yeah, well, you're irritating.
I know, but
you're
being
irritating.
kind of abusive, and that.
I'm not being abusive.
You threatened me.
I haven't threatened you at all.
Oh, no, sorry,
How
not
have I threatened you?
Quite right. You haven't threatened.
Okay, so
You've
that
been abusive by calling
Okay.
me names.
Officers' conduct is a textbook example of how some try to twist mild language into something more serious just to gain control. First, he falsely claims the auditor threatened him a serious accusation, but when challenged, he immediately folds and says, well, you've been abusive. That shift alone exposes how flimsy and dishonest his claims are. And what does he consider abuse the words meathead and turd words that, while cheeky or immature, are hardly offensive enough to justify any kind of legal response? Police officers are public servants who must expect criticism and even ridicule trying to frame light insults. As abusive speech is not only pathetic, it's a clear abuse of their position.
not be offended
I can
in the
be
office of
offended.
duty. No, you cannot.
I can
No,
be
you
offended.
cannot,
I
because
can.
you've got to. You've got to
slightly
expect.
thicker skin than
No,
the average
you've
member of
got to
public.
expect language, okay, and saying turd, okay, is in the actual English dictionary. So
Being
look it up.
abusive.
Look it up.
Stop being abusive.
Look it up, okay? Turd is not
being
abusive.
abusive.
Turd is not
Stop calling me
abusive.
names.
You say it's not a rude word. However, the definition of turd is a rude word for someone who you think is unpleasant. I'm not doing business with that little turd as an example. Okay? So it clearly is a rude word.
Yeah,
So
but it's
why
not
are
a
you-
swear word. But it's not a swear word.
You have to swear.
Yep, and
But
you
are being
have to
rude.
expect that.
You are calling me names.
Yeah, and?
Which does now. it's a
Okay,
public order
so
offence.
you came.
It also is
Public order. Okay, so
also
who's so you
antisocial
can
behaviour.
you cannot
So due to
actually
antisocial
you
behaviour,
cannot
under
actually
section 50 of the Police
Okay,
Reform Act,
okay.
I'm going to require to provide me
Right,
details.
so then here's the question for you. Under Section 50 then,
Of the Police Reform Act,
under Section
if you
50,
don't reply-
you've got
give me
to
the
have
details.
proof. No, you've got to have proof.
If you don't provide me your details, you can be arrested for
Okay,
it.
go for it. I want to see an inspector then, please.
The officer escalates a minor subjective interpretation of a rude word, one that's neither aggressive nor obscene, into the territory of criminal conduct, to try and classify a non-swear word as antisocial behavior, and then invoke Section 50 of the Police Reform Act 2002 is not just flimsy policing, it's legally an ethically questionable. Section 50 allows officers to demand someone's name and address only if they reasonably believe that the person has been engaging in antisocial behavior, which is defined as causing harassment, alarm, or distress to others. But here there's no public distress, no member of the public complaining, and no context to support that the auditor's comments met this legal threshold. The officer is using Section 50 like a hammer, in a situation that doesn't even call for a screwdriver, twisting legislation to punish someone for not showing deference to the fact that the auditor clearly challenged them and pointed out that the word in question wasn't a swear word and that no actual victim existed only makes the officer's response more absurd.
Okay,
First things
I'm
first.
entitled to see an inspector, right? And
One
if
thing
you're
at a
if you're
time. So
actually
what is your
using
details,
Section
sir?
50, okay, I need you to actually use the words correctly in
What
Section
is your name,
50.
sir?
And what part of Section 50 are you using, please?
What's your name?
What
sir?
part of Section 50 are you using?
We're not going to have a keep.
What part of Section 50 are you using, please?
We're not going to have a keep conversation.
Well, no, you need to tell me what part of Section 50
And I
you're
have done.
using for. No, you
Due to
haven't. You
antisocial
just said
behaviour,
Section
I'm
50.
requiring your details.
Okay, so where's the antisocial behaviour?
You stand here constantly calling us
Okay,
names.
that's not antisocial
It
behaviour.
will be for me.
Well, for
Right.
you, okay, you can't be the arresting officer.
I can.
Okay, nor can you because you're directly involved.
You haven't been
You're directly involved.
So, are you going to provide your details or not, sir?
I'm not going to provide anything because I've done nothing wrong.
So
Well, you can be guilty of an offence if any person is arrested for failing to provide their true name and address may be arrested on the standard. Arrest provisions of the Police and Criminal Act 1984.
Okay.
Okay, I have,
Are you going to provide
if
your details
I have reason
or-
to believe that you're acting in an antisocial manner.
Yeah, and where is that antisocial
You are.
behaviour? No, I'm not.
Well, you are. You're swearing.
No, I'm not.
You're swearing.
Standing-
I'm not
Calling us
swearing.
names.
Let's get it right. Turd is not swearing.
You're
standing in the
Turd
street,
is not
constantly
swearing.
abusing
What
two
you
people.
believe and what
That is
actually is the
antisocial.
law
Are you
is
in a-
different.
Are you in a public place?
Okay? I'm in a public place.
Are you being
Is there
offensive?
members of the public here?
Yes.
They don't need to
Where?
be.
Where?
We are members of the
Where?
public.
No, you're not. You're an officer.
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
you're
I'm
an
a member of
officer.
the public.
No, you're an officer. No, you're not a member of the public. You are an officer
so what
there
am I?
to uphold the law.
When he claims we are members of the public to justify a public order offense, he completely misrepresents his role. Police officers, while they are citizens, are not considered members of the public when acting in their official capacity. This is a critical distinction in law, especially when invoking legislation, like the Public Order Act or Section 50 of the Police Reform Act for a public order offense, or antisocial behavior. To be valid, the conduct must cause harassment, alarm, or distress to an ordinary member of the public, not an officer acting in uniform. Performing official duties, officers are trained, equipped, and expected to have a higher tolerance for words or criticism attempting to use themselves as the offended party is both misleading and legally unsound. The auditor handles it perfectly by calling out the flawed reasoning calmly, factually, and with confidence.
Okay, not abuse your powers.
Who's abusing power?
Okay, you tried to abuse Section 50 just now.
I'm not trying
Yeah,
to
you
do
did.
anything.
Okay, and you
I'm
still
required
haven't
to provide
put. Well, what you actually require? I require a superior officer as my actual legal right. So I've asked you to actually get a sergeant or an inspector to come
One
out.
thing at a time.
Okay. Well, then you
Are
do
you
that
providing
first, and
details?
then we'll move forward from there.
Are you providing details
Okay.
or not?
I told you no.
No. Okay, fine. So at this point, then I'm going to have to arrest you for breaching Section 50, aren't I?
Okay, go
You
for
already
it.
have to do it.
It's your choice, not mine.
Well, no, it's yours.
It's
to
your
provide
choice.
details
No,
on this.
I don't need
Section 50 of
to,
the police
because
reform
I've done nothing wrong.
We do have the powers.
I've done nothing wrong.
Address.
I've asked you
We're
to
not
produce
based on
where the member of the public
reasonable
is,
legal of engagement,
okay,
antisocial
for the
behaviour,
antisocial behaviour, okay?
antisocial
You cannot be
behaviour
the
is
arresting
defined
officer
something
for
that
that
people
if you were the one that you were saying that it was against,
Section
right? And that is what the law is,
Do you not listen to it?
okay? I'm talking to you, he's reading out whatever, I was talking to you. In this day and age of what?
There was a lot of issues.
Like what?
Security.
Okay,
You've
and
got
as I said,
terrorism,
is the building
you've got
secure?
domestic terrorism.
Is the building secure?
If people are filming, cameras, gates, key locks,
I'm filming public
cars
property.
coming in and out, private cars coming in and out.
Okay.
Not all police vehicles.
I try not to get private cars. I try not to get private
You don't
cars.
know what a private
Well,
car
it makes
is
no
at home.
difference. Well, if it gets caught, I'm still doing nothing wrong.
I mean, you could quite easily have stood out on the pavement and done
Well,
it.
I can stand exactly where I want on public.
Part of the video completely lays bare the true motive behind the officers' actions, and it's not about law, it's about discomfort when the auditor clearly explains. He's filming a public building from a public place, which is perfectly lawful. The officer shifts the conversation, saying there are private cars coming in and out. That's not a crime, nor is it reasonable suspicion, it's a preference of discomfort. With being filmed dressed up as legal grounds to demand details, what makes this worse is that the auditor explicitly says he avoids filming private cars where possible, showing both intent and effort to be respectful.
It's completely lawful
But why do you need to do that?
because it is lawful.
It's not really.
It is law. It's not.
You
Okay,
need a
right. I'm
lawful
just,
excuse.
I'm just going to go into my bag for a minute, just to pull something out
It may
for
be
the both of you.
lawful, but again,
Okay.
why do
Don't you
need
bring out
to do
anything
it?
silly and
Okay.
something.
No, that's why I was telling you like, what I was doing.
Well,
Okay.
a lot of people have
Right.
done that and pulled knives out.
Right. There you go, sir.
Who is this?
Okay. And you'll actually see what it actually states, that I'm completely lawful to actually film any police officer, any property of the police, okay, any station, anything.
Yeah.
To plod or not to plod?
How you doing, buddy?
How you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, not bad.
What are you doing today?
Good, not too bad.
So he is doing those videos then?
YouTube, yes.
I don't need to
You're just turning
identify
up
myself.
outside police
You're famous.
stations, knowing
I don't
that we're
need
gonna
to
come and
identify
speak to you
myself.
so you can monetize a video.
I don't need to identify myself. You
That
tried to
presumption
abuse.
is- we were
You
correct
tried to
then.
abuse Section
We were
50.
correct, weren't we?
You tried
We
to
were
abuse.
correct.
No, I was
We were
correct
correct,
because
weren't we?
you
We were
tried to
correct.
abuse your powers.
You've come
You
here
tried
just
to
to get a
abuse
video
your
that you can
powers.
monetize, haven't
You
you?
tried to abuse your powers. This is why we
Give you
do
the
this.
opportunities.
You can see the way that the other officers went and the sergeant. So yeah, what I'll do is I will put those complaints in, there's no doubt about that. Altogether, I believe that I've got 14 complaints all going through at this moment in time, I do believe.
The moment the officer recognizes the auditor from his channel, the entire tone shifts. The threat stops, Section 50 vanishes from the conversation, and suddenly the real reason for the hostility is laid bare. The officer says, "You've just come here to get a video from us," confirming that their problem wasn't with the law being broken, but with being filmed and potentially exposed for poor conduct. That one sentence dismantles their whole narrative. The auditor may have come for content, but what he uncovered was an overreach of power, emotional policing, and officers more concerned with ego than lawful procedure from the very start. The officers were confrontational, dismissive of basic obligations, like proper identification, and triggered by the lightest of language, words like meathead and turd, not swearing, not threats. were somehow inflated into claims of abuse threats, and ultimately a justification for demanding personal details under Section 50. That's not sound policing, it's desperate reach. For control, the claim that they were members of the public while in uniform. Trying to enforce legislation was equally absurd. Officers are agents of the state while on duty, and invoking public order laws to protect their own feelings while enforcing. Power is a complete misuse of the law. It was also telling how the justification kept shifting. First, it was offensive language, then it was antisocial behavior, then it was the filming of private cars, and finally it boiled down to personal discomfort. And when that discomfort couldn't be backed legally, they tried to emotionally guilt the auditor, or twist his presence into some kind of agenda, but the auditor stuck to the law, explained his actions, and didn't fold under pressure. The officers folded the moment they realized who they were dealing with. That tells you everything. This encounter is exactly why public audits are important. It revealed how quickly some officers default to intimidation, how loosely they interpret legislation, and how their authority can be shaped more by ego than principle. Whether they liked it or not, Plaud did what needed to be done, and by the end those officers had nothing left but silence and retreat. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me continue with my independent coverage. Also, don't forget to check out Plaud. His channel is linked in the description. Show him some love. Thanks for watching. This was Rate the Audit, and I'll see you in the next.